The Untitled String Quartet by Tyshawn Sorey is a really evocative work that we've had the pleasure of exploring throughout the rehearsal process leading into the tour. This work is full of spaciousness and is kaleidoscopic in its harmonic palette, with sign gestures that begin the piece shape-shifting as the work progresses. This piece is full of tension, both harmonically and somewhat rhythmically. And there's a sense that we're searching and yearning for something that we don't finally get until the very final bars of the piece. There we can finally breathe a sigh of relief. It's extremely meditative and at times almost lulls us into a trance-like state. I think it's best experienced by simply sitting back, breathing, and letting the fluidity and the lush harmonies wash over you in the moment.
I think as an orchestral musician, the goal is to constantly be finding moments, even if it's for half a measure, within the context of a larger symphony that you can engage in making chamber music with your colleagues. For me, this could be a harmony with the oboes or a unison with the viola section, but there are little opportunities for making chamber music no matter how large a piece is. Additionally, as a principal, you have to communicate your desired sound with your body language and with your words, which are absolutely skills that are enhanced by chamber music experience. In general, in chamber, you have more influence and autonomy over the interpretation as compared to orchestra, where there's a hierarchy beneath the conductor. But in performance, the essence is the same, where you are seeking out another voice to provoke or to respond to or to sing along with.
I had the best time touring with Joseph Lynn and other Marlboro artists in an all-Beethoven program earlier this season. It's so nice to have a small slice of the Marlboro spirit outside of the summer festival, and it sort of feeds my inspiration for the rest of the year. When we sit down to rehearse, it sort of feels like we're almost back in Apple Tree, approaching the music with the same level of depth and curiosity that make Marlboro summers so special and eye-opening. I was really honored to be a part of Joseph's Beethoven project, performing the Opus 95 Serioso Quartet of Beethoven. And it's really sort of helping me bring a fresh perspective to the Opus 59 No. 2 quartet that we're playing in this tour.
The septet is an interesting piece from a horn player's perspective because I am largely in an accompanimental role. This is because Beethoven was writing for the natural horn, which was not as technically advanced as the other instruments. We were very limited in how many notes we could play, so this means we couldn't be given a lot of melodic material. In practice, what this means is that I have to constantly think about balancing and layering underneath the other instruments, which can be quite challenging because by decibel level, the horn is probably the loudest instrument on stage. In terms of timbre, though, the horn is quite complemented by the other instruments, which are mid to low range. So the double bass, the bassoon, the viola, the cello, they all combine to create a sound world that is very dark and rich and subterranean. And then the violin and clarinet, which have the majority of the melodic material, can float on top of this bed that we create.
My string quartet was lucky enough to participate in a Marlboro residency back in November. The experience was so special for us because it actually culminated in our very first public performance to the warmest audience in the dining hall. The residency allowed us to leave behind the everyday worries and chores of life, hole up in a beautiful cape in the woods, and focus on nothing but rehearsing and exploring our program together for hours on end. We had so much fun living together for a week, cooking, playing cards, of course, most importantly, doing detailed work on 3 quartets, which we prepared for a concert at the end of the week. The week was extremely formative for us as a young quartet, because we are still working to find our unique voice and discuss our future goals and endeavors. For all of us busy musicians who are traveling and playing concerts constantly, it was a rare opportunity to be together for a chunk of time, and it really brought us closer as musicians and people.
Marlboro has been so important for my growth as a musician, especially in my confidence and my communication and collaboration with others, which is what chamber music is all about. I've learned to feel comfortable in my taste and my convictions, even when I'm in a room with people who are older than me and more experienced than me and know the repertoire better than I do. The push and pull of everyone's ideas coming together is what creates a final version of a piece that feels really dynamic and human and lived in. I really felt this past summer working on the Brahms horn trio with Stephanie, who's on this tour, and Mitsuko Uchida. I was really pushed to what I thought were my limits on the horn, and then to go beyond that, which resulted in the most special performance of my life so far, and I would not have had that without Marlboro.